and streaming on the web since 1996. This is Cinematic Sound.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this special Cinematic Sound radio video. I thought I would update you on the status of Cinematic Sound radio this way, because a few things have happened, and I thought maybe this would be a bit more engaging than just listening to audio. And if you like this format, maybe we'll do more videos in the near future. We have a few things that I want to talk about. It's a pretty exciting time here at Cinematic Sound Radio. As most of you do know, that I have been away from the show since April. And I've just basically been working behind the scenes, updating shows from guest hosts as they come in. And I really want to give a special shout out to Jason Drury, who has kept this show and this website afloat since that time. He's just an absolute workhorse. I don't know where he finds the time to do all of this stuff, but he is interviewing composers. He's doing his archive program, which is fantastic. He's also guest hosting on another soundtrack radio show that is broadcast in Kitchener, Ontario, called Visions and Sound with Rob Daniels, and you got to check out that show as well. It airs every Saturday morning. You know, Jason's on that program as well, so he's just he's kept Cinematic Sound Radio, the brand, alive pretty much single-handedly. So I basically owe him the world, and he's got a brand new show coming up this week, and I hope you all tune in to that. And he's doing more composer interviews. Again, if you haven't checked out his Mike Ross Trevor interview, it's fantastic. And of course, he did the 3-part James Horner documentary, which was fantastic. So from the bottom of my heart, Jason, thank you very much for keeping this station alive in my absence. So let's talk about my absence. I haven't really been doing a lot behind the scenes. I thought that maybe I would try to revamp the site, do a few other things. I haven't really thought about it, to be totally honest. And I guess that's what a hiatus is. You take a break. And so I took a break. I did think of a few things, and, those things will come into fruition later on down the road. What I am here to announce, though, is that I will be coming back. I'm going to be coming back hopefully this week or next week. And the reason for my return, I will tell you at the end of this video, and that's some pretty exciting news. So yeah, I'm coming back. I'm going to be doing shows, and we're going to be formatting my program a little bit differently. We have been receiving emails about the length of the show, and I think what we're going to do is split up the program into 2-hour-long parts. So the show still stays 2 hours because I have to deliver a 2-hour show to W Rock Radio. But for the listener, I'm going to upload, I think, an hour of the first part earlier on in the week, and then I'll conclude the next hour later on in the week. So you'll have hour-long chunks to listen to instead of giant 2-hour chunks. So hopefully that makes listening to the show a little bit easier. Thirdly, we are introducing a brand new program this week. It's called Breaking the Waves, and it's hosted by Brandon-Shea Mutala. And I have been on his podcast, which was called Melodic Treks, which was part of Trek FM. I've been his guest a few times. But what he wanted to do was to create something that was separate from his Trek shows. And he had done a similar program based around ambient and melodic electronic music in the past on various different radio stations and other platforms. And so we got to discussing about this show, and I said, look, if you ever want to do a program here on Cinematic Sound Radio, I'm more than happy to host it for you. So he delivered a show about a month ago, just before I went on vacation to Newfoundland in July, and I was supposed to put the show up, but again, I just didn't have the chance to do it. But now that I'm getting back into the swing of things, we will have episode 1 of Breaking the Waves up this week. Now, it's not going to be a regular program. Brendan is doing other things for other channels and things of that sort, but whenever he feels like he wants to come up with a new program for Breaking the Waves, we are here for him. and we will gladly accept his program. And I really hope you're going to enjoy this first episode, which is dedicated to Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, two composers that I have a hard time getting into. Can't say I'm a big fan of their scores, hence maybe the reason why I don't present a lot of their music on the show, but this is the reason why we have guest hosts. You know, Jason Drury is doing the back catalog of film music. He's presenting classic scores and new archival releases, which I mean, I love. I just have a hard time programming them all into my own program. So Jason's there to take care of that. Brendan, on the other hand, is going to start doing electronic music, which I think is absolutely fantastic, and admittedly is a subgenre of film music that gets ignored here at Cinematic Sound Radio. Also, just a shout out to anybody that is interested in doing video game music. And look, I love video game music, and I try to present video game music on each and every episode that I present, and I try my hardest. But if someone wants to do a video game music show here on Cinematic Sound Radio, I have the platform for you. If you feel like producing 2 hours of radio on video game music, let me know, because I'm really interested in that as well. Or if anybody has any ideas or they want to do some radio here on Cinematic Sound Radio, just email me, cinematicsound@yahoo.com. And now, time for the last bit of news, which is, I mean, super, super exciting. I've been doing this show for almost 23 years, and I've never submitted it for awards. I have never won an award. It's not what this show is about. However, a few months ago, I heard about the podcast awards, and actually I've heard about them before. They're pretty big in the industry. And so I thought, you know what, now's the time to maybe submit the show for nomination. And so we did. And of course, I asked everybody on Twitter, Facebook, and throughout the various film music message boards to help get the show nominated. We didn't get nominated in the People's Choice category, and that's a really tough category to crack. I mean, only I think the creme de la creme of podcasts get into that category, and I don't think we would win anyway. However, we did get an official nomination in the music category, which is, I think, one of the most exciting things that has ever happened to this show. And this has everything to do with you, the listener. You're the one that went in and took the time to sign up and nominate the program. And I appreciate it. And I don't know what to do to say thank you very much for doing that. We are up against a good crop of programs. And so from now until, and I'm just checking the site right now, it's podcastawards.com. And if you go there, you can check out the rules and see how you can vote. And the voting takes place between August 12th through till September 15th. And the awards are announced on September 30th. I think that's International Podcast Day. Those awards will be presented live, and we will present a link for that award show. And you can check out to see if Cinematic Sound Radio wins its first ever award. And so I really, it doesn't take long to vote for the program. And if you can tell your friends to vote for the show, your family members, anybody, just we need as many votes as possible. I mean, I really, really want this. And I want this not only for me, but for everybody that's contributed to the show since the beginning all the way to now. You know, Jason Drury, Tim Burden, David Cosina, Andy Posthumus, Les Palango. I mean, the list goes on. This award is, again, not only for me, Erik Woods, it's for anybody and everybody that's contributed. And also, it's an award for you, the listener. Thank you very much for helping get the show nominated. Now let's go win this thing. Again, podcastawards.com. We are up against Drum Show, Gear Club Podcast, Listening to Ladies, Moto Podcast, Music in Two Flavors, Rock and Roll, Archaeology, Soundography, the Modern Vinyl Podcast, and W.B. Walker's Old Soul Radio Show. And you know what? Check out all those podcasts as well. There's some interesting shows in there, but most importantly, vote for Cinematic Sound Radio in the music category at the Podcast Awards, podcastawards.com. And as far as I can see, Cinematic Sound Radio is the only film music soundtrack themed podcast that was nominated for an award in this year's awards. So that's another fantastic honor. And again, thank you very much for helping get Cinematic Sound Radio nominated. But like I said, I really want this win badly. So since we are nominated, I'm going to make my return. I've got some interesting shows lined up. I think I'm going to try to do a more wide variety of programming. I might not stick to the format that I have been presenting ever since I got onto W Rock Radio. We might get into some deeper cuts, deeper themes, and really explore the film music that I personally love. And I, again, for 23 years, love sharing with you my love of film music and what I love about film music. All right, so I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and it's good to be back. And again, thanks to everybody who is listening to the show, who's watching this video, and has helped make Cinematic Sound Radio now an award-nominated podcast. Now let's become an award-winning podcast. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So on behalf of everybody here at Cinematic Sound Radio, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take care and happy listening.